associating with dumb people. Bomb! Dropping the bomb. You will become dumber. By associating with smart people, you become smart. To infinity and beyond. Go! Don't waste your time training for going backward. Tip number 6. After 2 weeks of riding and you never, if I were a brand new beginner, this $400 one is a very good choice. Tip number 2 is to find an open downhill. Your feet very sore. And to solve this problem, you will have to wear shoes with hard. Bigger the wheel size, the easier to go straight. You must pray to infinity and beyond. EUC Mastery. Top 7 tips for beginner learning it super fast. Tip number 3 is to find an open sports field like this. The smaller the wheel size, the easier to turn around in circle. The thing you want to see is cheap. For example, this one. It's a Emotion V8. Crazy Superman here. Hamster number 7. Dropping the bomb. Dropping the bomb. Bomb. Today I want to talk about EUC Mastery. Top 7 tips for beginner learning it super fast. Tip number 1 is to get a cheap used crappy one from Facebook Market. I met a guy whose EUC is like $5,000 and that's his learning wheel. So by the time he's able to ride it, it's all smashed up, scratch up, look terrible. When you ride it around, when friends see it, it's like, oh my god, what happened to your EUC? So it's very important you get a cheap one, learner wheel first, before you actually buying a real one. Now we are looking at a real Facebook market of different EUC that's for sale. The thing you want to see is cheap. For example, this one. It's a Emotion V8 and it tells you a little bit about it. $400 is very good. You, in the worst case, when you couldn't learn, you fail, all you lost is $400. But most important is to keep your wheel new. This one, $700 MTM3. This is not bad, but this wheel is too small, so it's not beginner friendly. The VA is a 16 inch. That's a good size for beginner. And there's this M10 Mini for $799. That's too expensive. And another one, $750. This is much better condition, but you are going to smash up in the beginning. Oh, this one, $950. Or Kingsang S18. It's a powerful one, but this one look in terrible condition. But because it's 18 inch, it could be a good choice because it's more stable to balance, easier to balance. It's better for beginner. More than $1,000, don't even consider. It's just way too much initial investment. This one, $900, very good condition, Emotion B10F, but just a little bit too expensive. So if I were a brand new beginner, this $400 one is a very good choice. Definitely the perfect one for a beginner learning wheel. Tip number 2 is to find an open downhill like this. This one is downhill, open, there's no cars or no nothing, and a fence for you to mount your EUC. When I was learning, I waste a lot of time riding next to fence. That will not help you learn EUC. You must find a downhill where you can focus nothing but balance. Without the balance, you will never learn it. With the pole, with fence, you will just be wasting time. So this is the very place when I learned how to ride EUC and when my brain finally clicked. So one hand holding the fence, and then you have to start praying to infinity and beyond. You leap off, and because it's downhill, all you have to do is focus on the balance. You have no control of the direction in the beginning, but your goal is to reach to the very end of the hill. I'm going to demonstrate once. Here we go. To infinity and beyond. Go! In the beginning, you're gonna go left, right, you wobble, you fall off many times, at least for an hour. And toward the end, your brain will finally click. Well, I can balance this. Basically, if UC is falling right, your left foot need to pressure. If UC is falling to the left, your right foot need to pressure. This way, you can maintain the perfect balance. This practice would take about 1 hour. Tip number 3 is to find an open sports field like this where you don't have to worry about cars and you can go straight line for a long time. In the beginning, don't worry about mounting. Always use a railing to help. Like right now, there's this railing that I can hold on to. Because the mounting, eventually you will learn it. It takes some time. It will come naturally. And once again, before you lift off, you must pray to infinity and beyond. Going straight line practice is extremely important because 98% of the time you'll be going straight, and you need that time to build your muscle memory. With going straight line for a long time, your leg, your feet begin to learn how to balance, how to change the angle slightly so you can turn naturally. With this type of straight line, you will be learning UC very fast. It takes about 2 hours of practice so that you can be comfortable getting on real road, doing real things, and using it as a transportation tool. Now, for all beginners, because EUC are using muscles that you never used before, so you're gonna feel your feet very sore. And to solve this problem, you will have to wear shoes with hard sole at the bottom. Hiking boots, walking boots, anything with hard bottom will solve the soreness problem. And you have to get the problem solved, because without it, you will be constantly taking breaks. Once you have the right shoes, you will be able to practice for longer period of time instantly, just like that. Tip number 4 is not to worry about turning and going circle. See, there is a circle here. Some people will worry if they are good enough, if they should buy a new EUC or not. Then they want to spend a lot of time turning the circle. Now, turning will come naturally as you ride more, so you don't have to waste time spending a lot of time practice the turning circle. One thing you have to know is that the wheel size determines the difficulty. If your wheel size is 18-inch and heavy, doing this circle will be extremely difficult. Now, if your wheel size is a 12-inch, like the M10-4, M10 Mini, doing this turning will be super easy. So it's all relative. Once again, for this tip is to not worry about turning. It comes naturally. Tip number 5. Don't worry about going backward. Don't waste your time training for going backward. 99.9% of the time, you will never use your EUC to going backward. So why worry about going backward? On YouTube, you will see a lot of advanced EUC rider. They level at 99 plus. They can do all kinds of crazy tricks, spinning, going backward, and all that. You don't need. All you really have to is know how to balance, how to go straight. You don't even have to worry about free mount. There's always a post, something you can hold on, then you mount, and then you go. Tip number 6. After 2 weeks of riding and you never fall off from your EUC, you are ready to buy for your brand new EUC. Yeah! When buying a brand new EUC, there are few things to consider. 1, wheel size. The smaller the wheel size, the easier to turn around in circle. On the other hand, the bigger the wheel size, the easier to go straight. So if you get something too small, it's difficult to go distance. If you get something too big, when you're doing short range trips, picking up grocery, just getting your lunch, it will become difficult to turn. So when there are a lot of people around you, the smaller wheel is better. When you need to go longer distance, the bigger wheel is better. So you have to find a balance. See with your lifestyle, what size, what weight is better for you. Here, Emotion VA, it's sort of in the middle. It's not so big that's difficult to navigate, not nimble. It's not too small where you cannot go too far of a distance. So personally, myself, I recommend the Emotion VA as a beginner wheel. But everyone live a different lifestyle and do different kinds of choices, so you kind of have to see and what fits best for you. And there are many places that sell EUC online, like ewheels.com, smartwheels.ca. But the best is to visit a local store. Like me, I bought 2 of this from EV. It's a Vancouver store in downtown Chinatown where you can see the physical product, and they have the product support warranty team. They also have free lessons, so they will help a lot in the process of learning and buying the EUC. Tip number 7 is to associate and make friends with EUC people. Online, Facebook, there are many EUC groups you can join, post questions, post a video and ask questions. and you will see that UC people are really cool, really amazing, because they have learned EUC and mastering their brain with balance, and they usually become a very friendly person. And also try to find group rides. There are many group rides locally in your city that you can join. It's just really fun when people can get together. You can talk about your experience, your question, your concern. Through group ride, you will learn a lot. And if in your area there's free EUC lesson, definitely you should take the lesson, because you will be able to interact with the teacher, with the assistant, and by associate with smart people, you become smart. On the other hand, if you are associating with dumb people, ooh, this is so scary, oh, I'm gonna fall off, you will become dumber. So that's the end of the video, and the 7th tip to master EUC really fast. Please like, subscribe, thumb up, and we'll talk to you next time. Ciao.